My hair is very high today, so I'm trying to get a little comfy here. Alright, I got Chong here. He's waiting on his bark box. I was gonna wait till I got a couple people on the stream. I guess I'll start talking about these black chickens. I I was reading a story over here actually, and they have these black chickens. He was on this farm that wasn't doing very well, and he came across some black eggs. And he didn't know what they were, snakes or whatever, but they ended up being some rare chickens. And I guess he was planning to sell these chickens and everything. It kind of made me feel uncertain as a humanitarian of sorts. So I understand people gotta eat, but on the same token, I don't really like eating meat a lot. I wish there was some other way we had to do things in life, but I guess such is life. It is what it is at that point. So, and then I was listening to toenail fungus stuff, and basil and oregano powder is supposed to help this, and they have some pills, and it was a doctor. I'm not even sure if he's fake or not. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Something. It is what it is. I don't know if I fully believe him in his cure, but maybe oregano does help. I don't know. But they did say some of the topical stuff you have could cause liver damage and other stuff trying to get rid of your toenail. It didn't make sense that he said that the toenail fungus can lower your immune system and a bunch of stuff. That did make sense medically, so I don't know. I'll have to further research this. You're like, alright, you're like jail brim. Is that good or bad? I don't understand what that is. Oh, hello. We'll give a shout out to Germany. I'm half German and half Irish. So yeah, I'm a friend of Germany. Have had a lot of patients from Germany. Oh well, thank you. Oh, you're from India, okay. I'm getting a lot of variety at 4:30 in the afternoon. Oh, hello. I figure when I start getting some more people, I'll open up the Spark Box. My dog really wanted me to open this. And I know all these weed YouTubers are opening up their boxes online, so I figured I might as well open up mine. If it's not weed stuff, but it's for dogs. Dogs are family. They put out another video not too long ago, and I got an alert, and it was so sad. I don't know if I could watch it. There was a dog that came to them, and it was shot, and I guess starved, these dogs. And I somehow made it to the dogs are family people, and it was. I haven't even got around to watching it because I may start crying uncontrollably. So thank God for them. But this is how excited my dog gets with these. And for some reason, They send me 2 to 3 of these when they should only send me 1. I a lot of times donate these to my neighbors that don't have money to get their dogs things. But right here it has this. I don't know, it says Big Shake Lake. And it has like every month something different. And of course, he knows what this is. See how excited he gets. Alright, well, this is supposed to be lake stuff. So, this one here, I guess, is supposed to be a boat. And of course, he gets excited. Alright, Chong, I'm going to open it up. And he always gets way too many toys. And you can get these adjusted to their dog breeds. See, this one's really for really good shoe toys. This is supposed to be like a little boat. There. He gets excited about it. Of course, he can drop it back in there. And here's another one. This is a big mouth bass ball. And these have a toy inside. They're soft and there's a toy like right inside. Okay, Chong, let me take off the tag. And we paid like, I'm going to say $40 a month for these. And they always have stuff for us, so. Alright, he has the rowboat. And these little things you could play tug of war with, but they're very strong and they can hit you in the head. So, it's an active play only. It's a totally tubular tug. So, this is what you play if you're playing tug of war. And we're not playing tug of war, Chong. That's not happening. It's going to have to be another day after I'm done live. Hey. And of course, you get your treats. There's Baba jerky bars. Oh, hello. And then you got Gobble soft bakes. And they're all really healthy for the dogs. They really are. That's why we like to get these. And they got these clunky, nuggety yums. I'll give them some of these. All right, Chong. If you said you didn't want this, go get it over there. He's been waiting for this. We'll see if he likes these. These looks like that. Let's see if he likes it. Alright, well, he's eating it. Sometimes he eats these things, sometimes he doesn't. If you don't like them, I just donate them to another dog. It's not a guarantee your dog is going to like them, but they are completely natural. And most dogs like them. Alright, we're not playing with that part. You can have more of these over here. I guess that's the most part about being on YouTube is you get to see and you get to talk to people from other countries. Because I live in America and there's other people that are German here, but it's not the same as talking to somebody from Germany. And I know that I had... Alright, Chong, what are you doing? You're about to knock me over. What? Here, do you want more of these? I guess these are a hit. These nuggety yums. Alright, are you happy? The box is open. Alright, Chong. Go. Go. You're doing this right over my pillow. Get. I swear, dogs or something. But that is the fun thing about YouTube is you get to see and talk to like different kinds of people. It really, I like to have variety in a lot of things that I do. So, but I'm gonna take these off until more comments come in. But I'm gonna do another story. Oh my God, Chong! Look, I'm gonna give you the rest of these. I guess these are the best treats of them all. I don't even know. Here, there's them all. There's no more. See? Eat what's on the floor, or don't eat them. I don't care. Go. I don't have any more, Chong. My dog is very spoiled. But I guess we can like go about. I was talking about stories of my life before, but maybe I figure. All right. Mr. Top 10 Creations. Amethyst work or remnant? This is a black stone. This is a opal moonstone. I got these from somebody. They're supposed to be good luck if you get them from people. These is supposed to have really, really good luck. I don't know what's this, but I've always had really good luck wearing these. For some reasons, crystals sometimes could be my best friend. And they just vibe with me, so I just go with it. I don't have any more of those, Chong. Look, the bag is empty. There's none left. It's all on the floor. That's it. You got them all. I don't know what else to tell you. I gave you all of them. Okay? What else do you want out of me, Chong? There's nothing else, Chong. I'm not giving you that other toy. I don't feel like being hit in the head with that toy. Go this way, Chong. He thinks he's getting more of the other stuff. But I had a friend, I was just going to go on another story. It's probably a reason that you shouldn't really be dealing with, like, moving, like, drugs and things and guns. I had a friend a long, long time ago. It feels like lifetimes ago. Oh, hello. Oh, more. Hello. Maybe this is a hot time to go come on here. I don't know. All right, Chong, what are you doing now? There's nothing in there for you. Look, this is the other box. You're not getting any more treats. You just had a whole bag. We're done, Chong. You ate. I just gave you a bag of treats. I'm not giving you any more. Okay? See, this is what he does. He looks back and forth and go, look there. Just because he had all these, this stuff here. Chong. Just go. I just gave you a bag of treats, okay? And you got your new toys. Just be happy with what you got. But anyways, I used to have a friend, and he was a really good neighborhood friend. And I used to hang out with him like every day, and I knew his mom and stuff. And anyways, back then when prohibition for weed, it was all illegal and you can go to prison. He was growing weed. And well, yeah, I do recognize people. But he was growing like the weed and that, but then he started. I mean, I didn't know about it. He had a lot of stuff for me, but he ended up getting a lot of enemies, so he got a gun. And he was moving a lot of marijuana at that time when I was younger. And I stayed out of a lot of bad situations, so I told him he shouldn't like go in. He went on some kind of deal or whatever, and I told him I had a bad feeling, and he ended up going on this deal, and then he ended up shooting this person because they were going to shoot him. Thing is the law showed up, and when the law showed up, he ended up shooting the other guy, and it was his drugs, so he ended up going to prison, and I felt really bad. I used to try to write him, and then the one time he said that he wanted me to start living my life and don't worry about him no more. And I think he did like, I want to say 20 years in prison. It was really sad for a person that's so, I guess, young, because we were all young. He was like maybe 18 or 19 at the time. Don't chew that right by my butt, Chong. Here, take this down here. Yeah, it looks like a horse. But I mean, honestly, he was a good person, and I guess I wish that it could have been better, and it didn't turn out the way it did. Because when things go bad, they go bad for a long time. They really do. And his mom was incredibly sad with grief because her son was going to be in jail for pretty much the majority of the good quality of his life. In your 20s, you're meeting your significant other, having kids, and getting things together, and he was stuck in prison. And all because he got angry and brought a gun. I don't know, it's just where there's in between and all of these bad things that happen through the world. I try to make sense of things, but I guess bad things are going to happen if they're going to happen, and that's it. Chong, I don't need none of this falling there. Take this out of here. Go. Don't make me get look, I'm getting the water bottle. Get. Take this here. Get your toys and take them out there. What? You can chew the toys over there. You don't need to chew them right next to my leg. You got a whole area there, Chong. But I guess it is horrible when things like this do occur, but sometimes you don't know what to say. Eventually, I kind of moved on with my life, and I felt bad for him. But it actually gave me a lot of reflection on why I needed to do better myself in the world. And it was just horrible. I can remember I heard stories and I was in tears because at his house, I think they were on a little bit more than marijuana at times, because I went over there to visit them one day. and this was a little before he got put in jail. And there was a kitten in the house. And anyways, this kitten, I guess they got really high and they decided to put the kitten in the microwave. And I was pissed off. I told his mom and everything. And I guess they only kept her in there for like 5 seconds. But I told his mom. And I think he's not the one that did it, and he's the one that made him take the kitten out of the microwave. But that's why I say that a lot of these dogs and stuff, when people get high on these drugs, these dogs and cats, this is how they're getting abused. And I know because I heard stories. People think it's funny because they're so high on these different drugs and they do things they wouldn't normally do. And I know they were doing a lot of bad stuff, but sometimes I wonder if some of the karma and some of the bad stuff they did was why he ended up in prison. Because you can only do so much bad, and just because you hurt something that's not a human being doesn't mean you don't get karma from it. Sometimes you get worse. Because technically, I've been told in a lot of witch circles that animals are innocent souls, and any act of inhumanity against the innocent is pretty much bad karma. Just like if you did to a human, but I think it's twice as worse. I think like if you're being attacked by an animal or something like that, and that kind of situation, it's okay because you're defending yourself. But if you go out of your way to terrorize a cat or a dog or a bird or whatever, I believe, because I've been told in circles of witches that God is everything. And God's all around you. So whatever you do, you already touched God. I mean, when you go outside and step on the grass, you're stepping on God. I mean, that's what I was told, and what a lot of people believe. That believe that God is just pure energy. So that's what I like. That's what I was told. So I'm passing that along. But honestly, maybe because of what they did with the kitten, bad things came upon them. Just like those dogs in our family today with the two dogs that had 3 bullet wounds and they were being starved. I mean, I honestly want to believe they were on drugs or some sort before they did something like that, because that's a horrible fate. And I feel that animals mirror us. And maybe it's a test of the will of the higher power, how you react to nature. I mean, we are an extension of God, so everything here is an extension of God. And even if you're talking, and it makes sense because the multi universes, and because I always binge watch all the science stuff, and they say that it's like a membrane type thing with our universe, and it kind of tells us what to do, and then we have infinite possibilities and other things we're doing with time. I mean, it's very philosophical now, quantum physics. So quantum physics, in effect, maybe we just, and then there's people that say honestly, in quantum physics, we are all sort of technically God because we're able to conduct the universe and maneuver things and change things if we want. So I guess if you want to say in that sense, we're all sort of God. There's our gods in our own self, and then there's the overall God. We're gods in the sense, I guess, that we can alter and change things. But if we alter and change things in a bad way, if you're on drugs or off drugs or whatever, I think it all matters still. Because if you mess up with the order, random order things, like if a rabbit was supposed to be going across a field alive and happy, and let's say you caught the rabbit and tortured the rabbit and you stopped that activity, I think for I guess they were saying with quantum physics and all that stuff, that same rabbit that you stopped, there'll be scenarios that get played over and over again that you don't get near that rabbit, or you weren't at that site of that rabbit where the animal the rabbit can go free. Because they said in one universe, a cat could be alive, and then in another dimension of the same sphere, that same animal's alive, and in one it's dead. And I think these are from the random possibilities and the random choices we make in the universe. And I believe this is how they come out. This is how a lot of people are explaining it. And the scientists are literally saying that that a lot of this stuff, can you at least chew it over there, Chong? I don't feel like there's not enough room over here for you with that toy. And you're getting dog slobber all over me. But let me see if I got another reading. No. But I'm thinking these may be it. This may be the actual kind of possibility that I was looking for. And they're doing a lot of, like, it's a gorilla galaxy I was looking at. And they're discovering like different galaxies with the James Webb telescope. It's really, really amazing. They have like this video that's an hour long, and NASA brings it out, and it is so awesome. And they have these nebulas, and it's honestly it's breathtaking looking at that telescope and what with everything it's taken pictures of, and then people tell me it's fake. I honestly don't believe that science is fake, because if science was fake, then how do they explain gravity? That's the thing. There is gravity. They were even saying that in another they had astrophysicists a lot in the second video I watched. He said that World War II in one dimension could have been lost, and then one, where we lost, another one we won it. And you never know which one you're in or what reality. They were saying that too. They said one reality you might be speaking German, another reality you might be speaking English. It's very interesting. I mean, I always say this every episode, because I really think Stephen Hawking is very interesting and very intelligent, and I wish he was around. I mean, I don't want to be, ouch, Chong. I mean, I know that he probably had to die because his body was broken down enough, but I wish maybe he would just lived a little bit longer just to see the biggest discovery in history. Because I feel that quantum physics could maybe teach us to be better human beings and maybe be more conscious of our choices. I mean, just because you can do crack and all this stuff doesn't mean you should. Honestly. I mean, people will sit there and not eat liver because they say it's gross, but then they'll sit there and smoke something that's named after the crack of your ass. So I don't get it. I really don't. And I know life is hard, but if you're willing to stay on hard drugs, there's programs and things and places for you to go. If you're willing not to blow every dollar you have and you're willing to work, there's unlimited possibilities for you in the world. And I believe that some people just, I think they come to the conclusion that they can just make whatever mistake they want and everyone's going to bail them out all the time. And I guess that goes along with the theory is people got their own problems. Sometimes they don't have money to bail you out of the problem that you put yourself in. Sometimes they do. But I guess why would you want to put yourself in that position? Because I don't put myself in positions like this. I get bored, and I was streaming over Facebook just to kind of meet friends and different stuff. And I did meet friends over there and Instagram, but it wasn't like I was doing hardcore drugs. There's things and activities you could do to make yourself occupied, I guess. And you can actually do something beneficial to your own self and the people around you. And it's more beneficial that we try to unite as just people in general, just as human beings, and just stop all the craziness because I feel that the world would be a better place if we got along. And I know everybody is all say that. I know it's cliche. I know Dr. Martin Luther King and everybody under the sun has said that. But I feel they say these things for a really, really good reason. I feel that it would be a better place. And and it does take one person to start a movement, yes. These are your great leaders of the world that put together big movements like Black Lives Matter. That took a lot of effort. And a lot of your civil rights movements, obviously. But then there's also different movements. There's animal rights movements. We have a lot, but I think all these movements help us become better people. As long as you're involved in a positive movement, I think if everybody could be involved in one of those kind of things, and I guess I feel like gangs are like sharks preying on people. They stay in the deep water, usually in bad neighborhoods, and they wait for you to hit your lowest, I guess, your lowest state in your life where you have anything in your heart on your luck. And then they come in and swoop you up and they offer you this other stuff and then they eat you up later. And then everybody was going around and part of my language, but they were like, we were talking about a family friend. She went to take in, I think he's like a cousin or second cousin or whatever. He was having problems. And this was recently. And, anyways, he went ahead and I guess he's been talking to these gang people. And every city has them. And honestly, you can't blame the gangs because people actually want to be in the gangs. And then he showed me a picture of his girlfriend, and she was really pretty. I said, "Oh, she's pretty." Found out he's trying to get into a gang. He's going literally in the area and trying to put in the application to be one of them. And he just started not coming home and this and that. So she had to claim truancy on them and or disorderly. I know disorderly. That's if you're drunk. I don't know, whatever it is for curfew. And she called the police, and they've been looking for him. And the thing is, these organizations, they may buy you dinner, they may do this, but they're going to expect you to shoot people and do a lot of stuff and feed into the system, but they come in like your best friend. And everybody, and I feel bad about it. Everybody else is just like, well, it's his choice, his choice. And then I guess the one comment everybody keeps saying, oh, you fuck around and find out. It's saying if you go and you feed, and I guess everybody's saying, I guess that's a crude way of saying if you go around and keep looking for it, it's going to come to you. I guess that's pretty much what it is. I don't really, I'm always looking at crazy things on YouTube and studying about fungi now, crazy stuff. So I don't get out like that, and I'm glad I don't because getting out today means all this activity. I'll be going to work and back and live streaming, and then I'll do my little talk with people, and because people like to tell me things, they say that I make them feel better, and they said thank you for listening to me all the time. And I always say that I would, to me, if I don't have a lot of money, but if that's the one thing I could do for you is listen to your problems, and I do generally care about your problems. If that's what I could do, I'll do it, but I guess a lot of people don't these days. But I guess he's still at large. They're still looking for him, and everybody's still pissed off at him, and I feel bad. I really do. Because I guess there was, I think the girl that he showed me her picture, I guess she was underage. And he was 18 and she's 17. So he's going to be charged. He's getting disorderly conduct because he didn't listen to his cousin because she took him in and I guess took guardianship or whatever. Something like that. I don't know the logistics of that, but anywho, they got that. And he has like a counselor lady that contacts him all the time because his parents aren't involved. So I feel bad. I'm hoping things turn around because I hate when people get on this bad path because they keep going down this bad path and they sometimes to get back on the right path, sometimes it takes 20 years. And the thing is 20 years go by fast when you're doing something, I guess you could say. But if you feel like it's kind of, I guess, the only thing I could compare it to would be going to work. It'd be like being stuck at work all the time and that being home. And then you get a little tiny room and you shower and go back to work. And it would go very slow because sometimes a work day goes slow, even 8 or 12 hours, because you don't have personal freedom and you're not home. So I would feel, but at least in a work environment, no one's really trying to hurt you. But I guess that would be an environment where you can be possibly hurt or raped or anything. That's what I'm thinking. Because we have another friend that, I'll tell you that story. He was in the army, and he came out of the army and had all these different kinds of jobs, right? He was always looking for a really good job, too. Then he ended up getting a job as a CO. And that's a really good job. Really good job. And anyways, he didn't want to, he was working on the job and doing real good. And since he was a new guy in the job, I guess they have a thing where people don't like to take care of the pedophiles. People that, are having sex with little kids. Because they have little kids. And I guess they all have take turns and no one really likes to. And I guess you have kids, you kind of, you get a feel for it and you don't want to be, you just don't want to deal with it. But anyways, he quit. Because they said it was his turn, and since he's the new guy, he has to, but it would only been for a little bit. But he could have made like 50. I think they do at least. I know they're at least 40,000 a year, but I think he was gonna at least start out at 40,000, and he just has a kid and everything. Now he's working at Walmart because he decided he didn't want to work with one group of people. Thing is, I get it. If you know you're dealing with criminal activity, that's a part of the criminal activity. But if everybody around you saying, I have kids too, that you don't have to be there that long, you would think for the benefit of your own family that you would do that. I would. If I was a CEO and I was in that position making 40,000 a year, hell yeah, I would. And you don't have to be. I guess you got to be polite, sort of, to some extent, but you don't have to be overly friendly. Like, if they ask for something, you hand it to them, and you just don't make casual conversation if you don't want to. And how hard is that for the better good of your family? But now he's at Walmart. They're struggling. And and his child, he's autistic too, his son. But the thing is I do have autism, but it's real slight. And I've had a lot of like speech therapy in my family, made sure that they watched over me, and that's probably one reason I'm naive to the world. And the thing is sometimes I was a little more sneaky, and I guess his son is they don't correct him for any of his activity. And I've told my husband that my dad would literally come at me for everything I did that was horrible, because it didn't matter what kind of condition I had. If wrong is wrong. And I feel that if people don't know what truly wrong is, how's anything going to get better? And I think it's at the and honestly, it is at the parental level. But then again, somehow some parents can't be around all the time. They got to work. Their kids are in daycare, and then you have outside influences with the friends, so that complicates things these days even more. So I don't know the answers, but I mean, I hope I change someone's life or try to help somebody with something. Because I know kids are doing this kind of activity and they're seeking out these gangs all the time. And that's what's making these gangs so big. And biker gangs too. But from what I'm told, some biker gangs don't do illegal things. Some do, some don't. But to every good, there's a bad. But I was told not every biker club is bad. Because there's a lot of them that are actually, they just like to be called a biker gang, but they do good things. But then there's some of them, like I guess the Hells Angels. I used to have a friend that their dad was in the Hells Angels. And I used to go over her house and to me, he was just a regular person. He'd come in, do whatever he did, and leave. And I talked to his daughter, and we were just friends. But I guess there's bad and good in everything. But I will tell you that a lot of times he was giving money to the poor. He would give money to programs and stuff, and they do help. They really do. But sometimes they do bad things. But honestly, these days, I think everybody does bad things here and there. I think it's just kind of the natural way of things, and I just wish that people would be a little more self conscious to try to make the world better. But if it happens, it happens. But I guess now we have these social issues. I mean, kids are going in these bad areas and they're wanting to join these gangs, and the gangs are saying fresh meat. So, what do we do? And then this girl, her parents are very unaware of what she's doing. She's not a virgin. She's sleeping around with gang people. What do you do? Her mom doesn't know. I mean, no one even knows her address. They just know that he's at large. Will she lie to her family and say it was all him? Probably. And how many a gang? And then she's willfully sleeping with these guys. So you can't even blame the gang. She's an attractive girl just going around and just selling herself off because she thinks it's cool to hang out with these gangs. The girl he's with, and they just wanted, I guess, when you want to get in these gangs, they got a fan club, kind of like a biker club type of thing. They all come together, and one person knows one person, and they pair you up with another person. I guess it's a thing. I don't know. But I do know in these biker clubs that they are getting a very bad rep a lot of times. But a lot of people have done bad things. People will continue doing bad things. Probably to the end of time. How do you know what's good if something wasn't done that was bad to prove it is bad? I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but when the atomic bomb was created, they was itching to try it out, and there was nothing that was going to stop them from trying it out one way or another. And they did, and it caused a really, really horrible event. And we're still kind of recovering from that, but it was the United States, and I think it was in Hiroshima or something like that. I don't know. I can't. I smoked a little weed, so I can't remember. I think it was Hiroshima. And then when they put this nuclear reactor, there was clocks that didn't move, and they have a whole museum and all that about it. But once it was invented, it was going to be put somewhere. I mean, this is human nature. We're curious and sometimes sadistic. But I don't know, at some point we have to accept that we can be sadistic in our ways or just come together and try to be better. I don't know. But I guess what gets me more is these kids. These kids are suffering. Oh, hello. I like the little fire things you have. Those are really cool. I can't never find those little fire things. I'm all over Snapchat. I do spotlight all the time over there. I got 177 followers. I didn't even notice 177 people liked me over there. I just do my little Snapchat in between live streams. I like it because you can send it right to Spotlight. And they have a thing on Facebook. It's always this thing where they say you can coordinate an event all the time. A person that works a 9 to 5, and this is what my only issue with Facebook. You're working a 9 to 5 job because you got to survive it. I like to eat, and I like to have a adequate place to stay. So I don't have time to do an event just to tell everybody when I'm going to be over here. I feel it's more easier going on Snapchat, going on the Spotlight, because I think it's 48 hours or 72 or something over there before it comes down. I don't know. Or it might be thinking of something else. But anyways, I go there and I'm on TikTok and I drop the same video to all the networks, even Twitter. Even where my friend Trump's at all the time. And he's all over Twitter. Oh my God. I don't know if they're ever going to find me on Twitter, but eventually I'm going to get enough videos where people eventually, after the whole Trump thing's over, that they might come across my videos. I don't know. But they're there. That's all I know. And then I do threads too. But I do this in one action, usually an hour before I start stream, just so people can know. Because it's rough trying to coordinate these events, trying to get on here. Because I got to make sure it's a time where it's quiet. Because the community guidelines down over here are very they're open, but strict at the same time. I mean, you're allowed to cuss a little and everything but you can't overly cuss, but you can't have any music. You can't have a stream within a stream. And you've got to be very careful. But, I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, a lot of times on Facebook it is a stream within a stream, but I'm half deaf. And honestly, it's easier for me to not have the music on. If I didn't have a lot of people in my stream, it'd be one thing, but it is what it is. But just to coordinate that I do this, and I feel it's better because then they give me money because it's counted as a reel on Instagram and everywhere. And it does benefit me in that way. And I do want to get these shelters going because I feel if I can help the animals, help the people, there might be a better world. I don't know. It's my hope, and it's the one contribution I would like to do before I die is pair up people with animals and show them that we can all heal each other. And instead of being angry, the first thing people do is they get really angry at each other. I mean, I feel that that's how it goes. You know? I mean, we have another family friend. I mean, I know so many people. Well, actually, I don't. My husband knows lots of people. And then I know people from work that know people. But I know of a person from a person. Him and his wife is having problems for a long time. And they admitted the wife admitted to the husband, because he was on alcohol and everything, that she truly hated him. And she only wanted him around for the kids, and she was rich. And he would drink more because he was in a loveless marriage. And then she said the best thing he could do is babysit his own kids. Which he pretty much was belittled. She was going to school for pediatric nursing. And it's good. We need nurses. I'm always for nurses in medical field because I know how hard they work. But she just keeps belittling him. And there's only so much you can say. If that's who they want to be with, you're not stopping any of that. And sometimes it's sad, but you just got to watch them go through things. And now, I want to say years later, and everybody thought I was crazy. Now years later, all this truth is getting exposed, and everybody. It's like, how did you know? It's like, because people like to tell me things and I don't say nothing to no one. They're like, well, maybe you should have said something. I was like, they told me not to. I mean, I feel everything has free will in this universe. If you want to stay in a loveless marriage for your children, and that's what you truly want to do for the rest of your life, who am I to judge? I can tell you it's a lonely road, but I truly cannot judge these activities. And I've seen over and over again this happen. And I try to do my best counseling him. I really did. I honestly did. And he would get drunk and he would have no one to talk to, but everybody feels comfortable talking to me. So he would talk to me, and sometimes she was just straight up mentally abusive to the point where he wouldn't put a hand on her or the kids, but he wanted to die. He truly wanted to die. Even more than me at times. I mean, I just told him that it's not his turn to die. And even if he tried to die, they wouldn't let him because for whatever reason, they want you alive and that's it. And it's true. When the higher powers want you alive, no matter what happens to you, no matter what comes onto you, somehow you're going to get out of it and you are going to live. Even if you're happily dead, you're going to be unhappily alive. So I told him this. He went through a couple close calls and this and that, but still lives. And I think it's for us to learn lessons that we live so long sometimes. I really do. And, thinking of this whole quantum physics thing, I'm thinking if any of this is just us learning or just lessons that we have to learn to expand our spiritual, honestly. Even down to violence. I feel if we perform acts of violence, I think even some of that is meant to be. Because, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of the science thing. And they're saying that some of the stuff we think is happening at a certain plane, but happening different at another plane. And we're constantly evolving. And then in one reality, we're dead, and then another, we're alive, just like the cat. I'm starting to think because it could be humans too. And maybe this is the lessons we have to learn. Because I feel that maybe sometimes when people are murdered and bad things are happening to them, that possibly maybe in another plane of existence they did something horrible to that extent and they have to pay for it in another. I mean, it could be. I've been binge watching all this science stuff. And these planes of existence fascinate me. Fascinate me. Now we have a gorilla galaxy. I like the name gorilla. but it's one of the biggest galaxies, and it has this huge, gigantic black hole. And somehow they they say that James Webb, there could possibly be life, and it's millions and millions and millions of light years away. And there's like sectors, and it's way bigger than ours. I'm wondering if with all the galaxies, I'm thinking life could be in this gorilla galaxy. And if time is infinite, like it is, and that is a proven fact, time is infinite. It never ever stops. It doesn't. You got certain times from the past that's in the spheres of the past and the spheres of the future. And this is the absolute truth. When I die, I know I'm just going to be another plane of existence after that, and we might not even know the difference. I believe, maybe it's possible. You don't start out as a baby. Maybe you just kind of live your life. Maybe some people go another plane of existence after they die, and they're just maybe 20 years old again in another plane of reality that's sort of exactly like their life. There's some accounts for this where people actually aren't reborn, they're just kind of transported to another timeline. And they keep getting transported to another timeline until they learn their lesson, I guess. Because until we admit that time is infinite and God is everything, I feel that we go round and round in a circle. And I feel like if you're doing bad things and hurting people, you end up getting hurt as equally. And maybe some people say that we start out in evolution like we start as cockroaches. There's that scenario. And if you see a cat or a dog, they're getting that much close to being human again. I've heard that. I'm not sure if I totally believe that, but I guess there's a possibility of it. I mean, it could be. Or our spiritual plane that does, but I've heard we all start out as cockroaches. And some people keep going back to cockroaches. I've heard that, and I guess that could be true. I mean, I honestly believe that, and maybe the good people get actually born again and get to live a whole new life when other people probably just. I've heard about it. Actually, there's been witness reports of this where they just keep going in different planes of existence and they say they got proof of time travel. Maybe these are the people that have influence like a conduit of negativity so much they get moved to another sphere to learn their lesson of maybe something that was that will happen if they continue with their ways. I think, I mean, it's in a lot of books, but some people have outrageously public views, and you can't believe everything you hear. That's always been true and always will be. But there's always some truth to everything we think is a lie. That's the thing. I've noticed that for being truths because a lot of stuff that I listened to people and it was a lie, there was always speck of truth. Even if it's not a lot of truth, there's a speck of truth. So I believe that people could do a quantum leap because they honestly, with the amount of black holes that are around us, just the vacuuming and all the energy they release could produce wormholes. When the scientists are actually admitting it could be a thing. They never did before. They say wormholes were science, were sci-fi, this and that, and no one wanted to admit that wormholes were a thing. Now they are. So I don't know. I'm saying just whatever's going on out there, if wormholes are appearing and grabbing people to teach them lessons and moving them through time continuums, or if you if you do something bad here and you're swore to replay the one thing you did really bad again in another sphere of time continuum, just don't do it, because it seems like you're tempting fate to doing things like this. This is why I don't like to be greedy. And I like to be very respectful. My mother used to tell me all the time. I don't know if it was Ted Bundy or who it was. One of them. That was Hannibal Lecter. The guy that used to eat all those people, that was one of the most famous killers. Hannibal Lecter used to rationalize him eating human beings and stuff by saying if they were rude or they weren't very good citizens, that he would just eat them. Because that's what he liked to do. That was his diet. He ate humans. He did not eat animals. He ate humans. So my mom used to tell me all the time, and Charles Manson, I think, was one of them too. If he thought you were beneficial to society and things of that sort, and you weren't rude, a lot of times Charles Manson would let you live. You just had to be very nice. Apparently, with Miss Tate, I don't know, maybe she was rude to him, but my mom used to always say a serial killer generally, even if they're given the order or whatever, if you're rude, you're most likely the first one to be murdered. So always be polite. And don't be greedy, and be nice. Because generally, if you're a nice person, keeps themselves, and you're not all drugged out and involved in this crazy stuff, a lot of times serial killers go after prostitutes, people, and that want to be bad and do all this crazy stuff. They'll target them. It's generally stuff like that they target. So through my life, I've learned to be humble, nice, and polite. And I have not had any problems. And I want to say that that's probably the key to survival in this realm, is those 3 points. And when you're humble and nice, you just don't change up and you're nice to one person, nice to another. You got to be nice to everybody, or it kind of, I guess, doesn't count. You got water, Jumanji. But anyways, I think it doesn't count fully unless it's something like that. So I'm guessing in this realm that's how you would survive. And I do all three all the time, and I may have my hardships from time to time, but it's nowhere near as those of my friends and the ones I talk to. Nowhere near. I mean, I may have to go without buying a vape for a week. Honestly, or just something stupid. And honestly, I'm trying to slow down and quit anyway. So that's the kind of fate I get. Some people go through where they have way more struggles than me. But I'm always those three. I'm humble and I'm nice. And I'm always respectful to everybody. I mean, I might not like what you're doing if you're sitting there doing stuff, and I'm going to try to save an innocent, and I will. I rescued Chong. I've rescued a baby before. I rescue a lot of things. That's how my older son got his name. I was at a party drinking. It was one of the few parties I went to when I was younger. Yeah, everybody was drunk, and I'm just not that big of a drinker, so I was pretty sober. And this girl, she brought her baby, and I was like, okay. I didn't think nothing of it. His name was Brandon. He was like 3 months old, and I thought he was the cutest thing. And it was cold. It was wintertime. She didn't have a blanket, and they wouldn't let the baby in the house. I brought the baby home to my mom. My mom was like, "Where's this baby come from?" And I told her the whole story. And the guy was in the military. That was the dad, and she was trying to take money from him, and she's trying to get high, and didn't want to take care of the baby. So I brought the baby home with me. The baby ended up living with me for like, so the dad came back from the military for like 3 months. My mom obviously was the main caregiver, not me, and they said I did a really good job. And his name was Brandon, and I was proud of myself. It was my one of my first acts of humanity. So I named my oldest son after him because I thought it was a good name. It was a nice strong name. I know it's old English, but that was my first act of humanity. Did I get drunk that day? No. I was watching over the baby, and I called my mom, and I went home with the baby. I took her too, and my mom wanted some answers why baby was out in the cold. So the friend I met at the party and the baby came home with me. It always astonished my mom what came home with me all the time. I brought my mom a dying bird once, so these are things I did as a child, because I always wanted to help. And it was ongoing, I want to help thing. But I feel that our decisions put us in, and I think the paths that we see are quantum paths. And I think that's kind of the energy I pick up. It's the energy that's around you, and as long as you don't try to react to it and you try to react to it in a positive way, you stay out of that circle. I think the energy kind of sucks you up, and then you can get sucked into a circle, but you can stay on the outskirts of a circle too. And I think I successfully do that by always being nice and always being humble and not judging nobody, honestly. I feel that that's how I get through things. So, but I think there's something to this quantum stuff. I mean, I could be off, but like the scientists say, anybody could be right at this point. You don't have to be an astrophysicist. You can watch YouTube videos and give your own educated opinion, and that could be a random possibility at this point of existence. It's going to be a long time before we can actually give a good, calculated answer to quantum physics. Quantum physics was turned upside down, literally, with all these telescopes that came out. And like I said, there's not been a time in history where they said wormholes were. They always said they were sci-fi. Now they're not, and now they're trying to find a way to explain them. So maybe sometime in this plane of existence, I'll get to see the explanation. But if not, maybe in the next I'll hear or see it. So I couldn't tell you, but I guess that's my thoughts for now. And I'm gonna end this, and I'm gonna take me another break and make me some more tea, and have a snack. And I'm probably gonna come on at 6, and then the husband he gets home like today's Thursday. I'm probably gonna try to go on from 6 to 7:30. Then after that, it all hell's breaking loose with stream within a stream and music and this and that and all kinds of stuff. So if you like my different kind of crazy talk, because people think I talk crazy because I'm intrigued by science, and I believe science and religion are one and the same. So if you like how I talk, open minded, and I'm not saying there's no God. I'm just saying I actually absolutely agree there's a God. I'm just trying to figure out where, how, and at what capacity. So I guess if you're subscribed, you get an alert button. So, but we opened up the bark box and went over my barnyard quantum physics stuff, which could be wrong or it could be right or it could be part of the truth. That's what's fun about science. We don't know. And it's why it's a fascinating subject because it offends nobody. It's knowledge that's coming to the surface that we got to put together. So I feel it's what we need right now is to kind of understand our piece and our place in the universe. So I'm glad that we're exploring these possibilities. And I'll probably at 6 o'clock be on again, and I'm going to take me a half-hour break then because it's a lot of talking for an hour. So I'll probably look at another video or just recoup and figure things out. And if you guys want any tarot readings, let me know. And I'll be on probably, like I said, from 6 to 7:30. So thank you for listening. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much, and I appreciate you. I really do. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And you guys are the best. And thank you for listening.